Hello, I'm Mrs. Jansen, and today in our art, we'll be creating delicious ice cream. First, let's start with vocabulary. Organic shape is a shape that reminds us of things found in nature. For example, the shape of a living animal or plant. Organic shapes are also called freeform. Notice the wavy, curvy, and zigzag edges that you see around the organic shapes. The edges do different things. Texture is the way something feels or looks like it might feel, and artists use many different lines and marks to create texture. Today we're going to use hatching lines to create the texture of an ice cream cone. So hatching lines are lines that are side by side or parallel, and they can be in any direction, diagonal, vertical, or horizontal. Cross-hatching lines are lines that are drawn on top and cross over the first layer of hatching lines. So here in the image, you see hatching lines. Notice how those lines get closer together and it makes it appear darker. On the bottom right, you see the example of cross-hatching. That first layer of hatching lines is drawn over with lines that are diagonal and cross the first layer. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color, and this painting was created by artist Wayne Thiebaud, who lives in Sacramento, California. Notice the different values you see, the lights and darks, as you look at the ice cream scoops and cones. So this is an artist who's famous all over the world for creating art that shows ice cream and desserts, and his art is in many museums. Our art today is also influenced by Rick Kirkman, and he lives in Arizona. He was born in 1953, and he began cartooning when he was in kindergarten. In junior high, he wrote his own version of Mad Magazine, and since he only had one copy of his drawing, he charged his friends 25 cents to read it. Here you can definitely see his sense of humor as he created comic strips showing kids eating ice cream. So Baby Blues was first released on January 7, 1990, and the daily comic strip is distributed to nearly 1,100 newspapers in 28 countries and is in 13 languages. Baby Blues was awarded the National Cartoonists Society's Best Newspaper Comic Strip award in 1995. And here you see this artist, cartoonist sense of humor again, showing ice cream. So for our art today, we're going to create a creature sundae. And we're going to draw the unicorn sundae together, but you can also think about creating more creature sundaes. So you'll notice the different organic shapes you see. And now you need your pencil, paper, and crayons for later. So you'll see the screen change so that we can draw together. So please place your paper vertical, up and down, or the tall way. In an art, this is called portrait style. So first we're going to go to the bottom of the paper, and about in the middle of your paper, I'd like you to draw a vertical, straight vertical line that goes less than half of the paper. And then about 2 finger spaces away, I'd like you to draw another straight vertical line. So we're going to be drawing the dish of ice cream. And now on top of these two straight vertical lines, we're going to add a curved line like a smile. So we're making a sketch. Please remember to use light pressure because we will be erasing some of these lines later or changing them. So we've got that great big curved line like a smile. And this is the bottom of the dish. And now we need to add the front of the dish. And I'd like you to watch me first. We're going to add a shape called an ellipse, and this is an oval that's narrower. So you're going to notice that this oval is sideways and it looks stretched out. So take your time as you draw your oval on your paper. Remember, it's a sketch, and we're going to be erasing part of it later. We're actually going to be erasing the top of this ellipse or oval that we've drawn. And after you've finished drawing your ellipse or oval, you're going to connect it to those curved lines like a smile that you drew. All right, now we're going to add a large scoop of ice cream, and this is going to be an organic shape. We're thinking about a circle in nature or something real. So instead of drawing a circle, we're going to use curved lines. And again, this is a sketch. Make sure you're using really light pressure because we're going to erase some of these lines in a few minutes. So notice where we started on the left, and that's the top edge of the dish on the left. And notice where we stop on the right at the top edge of the dish. So now this scoop of ice cream is on top of the line that we drew for the top of the ellipse or oval. So we need to use our eraser and erase that line. It overlaps. All right, so now we're going to add the ice cream cone, and the ice cream cone is going to be the horn of the unicorn. So we're going to start that with a curved line like a smile. And now the cone really looks a lot like a triangle, except for the bottom is a curved line. So it's actually a three-dimensional shape, and it's called a cone. So now at the right of that curved line like a smile, we're going to add a diagonal line that goes up. And then on the left side of that curved line like a smile, we're going to add a diagonal line that goes up. And they're going to meet and form a point. And now this ice cream cone overlaps or covers the top part of that scoop of ice cream. So we need to use our eraser again and erase that line. So the whole time we're making art, we use our eraser as a tool. We're not making mistakes. We make a lot of changes to our art as we draw. All right, now it's time for us to add that very first layer of hatching lines. So we're going to start at the left, at the bottom, and we're going to add diagonal lines that go from the left side of the cone to the bottom of the cone. And now as we get up higher on the cone, we draw from the left to the right side to create those diagonal lines. So that's our first layer of hatching lines. And now we're going to go to the right side. And we're going to add diagonal lines that go from the right to the bottom. And now we're going to add that diagonal line that goes from the right to the left. Right, so now we've created that ice cream cone texture. And now it's time to turn this scoop of ice cream into a creature. All right, so this is where you can use your imagination and think of a different candy or cookies that could create the shape of ears. So I decided I was going to use a different type of ice cream mochi for the ears of the unicorn. So I know the top of the mochi is round, and so I'm going to add an oval because we're looking at this mochi from the side. And then I know that it has a top layer and then it has a center, a filling. So I'm going to add a small curved line that might remind you of a tiny backward C that's stretched out. And then at the bottom of that, a curved line that's drawn to that scoop of ice cream. Now I'm going to add the bottom of the mochi with that tiny curved line like a backward C. And then at the bottom of that, the curved line that goes back to that scoop. So now it looks like that mochi is sticking into that scoop of ice cream. Let's draw the other ear. I'm going to start with that oval again, because we're looking at that mochi from the side. Even though it's a circular shape, it's going to be more oval. Now, I just drew an oval, and I wished it was bigger, so I'm going to change my oval. And now I'm going to add the filling. I'm going to add that tiny curved line. This time it reminds you more of a stretched out forward facing C. And now at the bottom of this, I'm going to add a curved line that continues to the scoop of ice cream. And then underneath that, I add another tiny curved line like a C. And at the bottom, this curved line continues to that scoop of ice cream. And it's okay if the ears are in different positions, because we're drawing a creature. And we can imagine that that creature is moving its ears, and they often do. Now I want to think about the mane, and the mane is going to be an organic shape. So the edges are going to be different. I'm going to start with a curved line that might remind you of the bottom part of a C. And then close by, I'm going to add another curved line, like a C, the bottom, that goes down a little further. And I'm going to add a third one, just like it. And a fourth one. So notice every time I've added it, it goes down a little bit, almost in a diagonal direction. And then I add a fifth one. And lastly, I'm going to add a larger curved line. This almost looks like the whole C. And then at the bottom, I'm going to add a curved line like a smile that goes back. So now it's time to use our imagination. What would we use to create the nose of the unicorn? And I'm thinking of a giant mochi, but because it's in the dish, I only have to draw the part I see. So I'm going to draw this semicircle or half circle. And then on the mochi, I'd want to be showing the openings in the nose of the unicorn that it breathes through. So I'd be thinking of adding maybe a small candy that's sideways, or frosting. And then when I get to the eyes, I'm thinking an oval shaped candy or frosting. And I'm going to shade that oval in with my pencil. I'm going to add color with crayon to it later. But for right now, I'm shading it in with my pencil. And now I can decide if I'd like to add eyelashes. And again, I could use frosting or a candy, maybe shoestring licorice, to create the eyelashes. All right, so now let's talk about color. And you can use your own ideas, but I want to show you different values. So The scoop of ice cream can be any flavor that you'd like, and I was thinking of a raspberry flavor or a strawberry flavor. So I used different pinks and a red violet and a little bit of purple to create those darker values. I wanted this ice cream scoop to look more 3D, so I moved my crayon in a circular direction, and then I went back and used heavier pressure on the edges in a curved direction. I've added layers, so I've added the pink and the red violet and a little bit of purple to make that darker value. I decided I wanted the mochi to be the green tea flavor, so that's why I use this light green. You can use any color crayon and think of any flavor that you'd like. When it came to the mane of the unicorn, I decided I wanted it to look like a rainbow. So this could be frosting, but it also could be other candies that are put together to create the mane. And then I added value on the dish. And so you're going to notice I move my crayon in a curved direction, and I used heavier pressure on the edges to show a darker value and make that dish look more rounded. And then inside the dish, I moved my crayon vertically up and down, and that helps that scoop of ice cream look like it's sitting inside the dish. And I also have a darker value. I decided to add the rainbow colors to the bottom of the dish. And you can decorate the dish and add any colors of your choice. And as I created that creature sundae, I decided that it reminded me of a beautiful large sculpture, and maybe it was outdoors. So I decided to color the background in a blue color to show the sky. And then I added some clouds and fun shapes. And I remember that clouds are an organic shape and they're moving. So I don't have to draw the line around the cloud shape. I can just color around and leave an open space to create a cloud. So I hope you enjoy using your own ideas and creativity to create your creature sundae. And here's a couple other examples you're going to see on the cat sundae. I decided that it was going to be mint chocolate chip ice cream, and then I used cookies that probably remind you of Oreos, or something like the Thin Mints. And then I decided to add lines and look at the cross hatching in different directions to make the dish look a lot like a ball of yarn. I decided to add the bottom of the dish on this one, and again I wanted it to look like it was outside. So I was thinking this time that it was sitting on top of a picnic table or a picnic blanket, and then I made the clouds. So here I created a dog sundae. Look at this organic shape that looks a lot like hot fudge. And then I decided to use a candy that might remind you of peanut butter cups. And I decorated the dish that reminded me of a dog and dog bones. And then I wanted this to be sitting either on a picnic table with a tablecloth or a picnic blanket outdoors. And again, I did fun organic shapes for the clouds. So I hope you enjoyed creating your own creature sundae, and we look forward to creating art with you again soon.